That might convince a lot of y'all just to build the 4.6 right there. But welcome back to the channel, everyone. Hope you guys are having a great rest of your day, start to your day, whatever time it may be. Thank you guys for 9K subscribers. You guys have been killing it on the vids. Really appreciate that, man. I know there's not a lot of 4.6 YouTubers out there right now, but I'm trying to go ahead and bring you guys some content. And kind of go ahead and just keep the 2-valve, the 3-valve, the 4-valve Mustangs alive, because a lot of people just kind of ditch them for the 5.0, which is 100% understandable. But in this video, I'm gonna go ahead and explain, or honestly just go ahead and just give my opinions on what you guys should potentially do with your build. This is gonna come from somebody who's had an NA 2-valve, boosted a 2-valve, put together a built motor, spent the money, and now kind of reflecting on everything that I've done to kind of go ahead and give you guys kind of an accurate opinion on what you guys could be doing to your car in the near future. Or if you already have done it, let me know what y'all think and what you guys experienced down in the comment section. But before I get any further, if you guys enjoy the content of the channel, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on those post notifications, and drop a like on the video. Let's go ahead and get a POV drive going because we're pulling up to a spot. I think I'm actually gonna go underground this time because it's been like 100 degrees out every single day here in Texas. It's been brutal. I haven't really been driving the car as much just because it's been way too hot. I've been just kind of chilling, staying cool. Hope you guys are too, because it's crazy. This Treadstone intercooler is putting in work though. My IATs are literally what it is ambient outside right now. It's like 100 outside, it's 102 IAT, which is remarkable, literally remarkable. All right, we're gonna jump right into this. As you guys can see right here behind me, this is my Supercharged 2004 Mustang GT. This car makes about 450 wheel horsepower. It made 437 wheel horsepower according to a DynoJet dyno, but I did have a Mickey Thompson ET Street SS radial. PSI was slightly lowered, so you do the math, it's right about 450 wheel. The videos on this car back it up. It moves out pretty decent if I say so myself. Now, a lot of people are considering going ahead and doing a setup just like this: boost, full exhaust, spark plugs, and a fuel system. It's very doable. I know a lot of you guys can get that done, but also I know a lot of people have that lingering thought: is it worth it, or should I just go ahead and drop a Coyote into this car? Also, a lot of people that are already boosted are considering going ahead and building this motor, or just going ahead and wondering, is it worth it, or should I just go ahead and drop a Coyote in the car again? The whole kind of premise is a 4.6 worth building and boosting? If you want to push 700 wheel horsepower in a NewEdge Mustang platform, I actually recommend you guys going ahead and building your 4.6 liter 2-valve as opposed to swapping a 5.0. Let me go ahead and explain. The block itself is good for 1,000 wheel horsepower. Now, you can literally go to Friendly Ford, the dealership, and buy yourself some Boss 302 rods. You can get the cheapest pistons you can find that will put the car at a 10.5 compression, some ARP head studs, some side bolts, and a Melling oil pump, and you are good to go to make 700 wheel horsepower. You don't need to change the heads, you don't need to change the cams, you don't need to do any of that. All you need to do is reinforce the bottom end. Obviously, you're gonna need a lot of boost to get that done, but that's gonna be a very affordable and rather quick way to go ahead and reinforce and refreshen your 4.6 liter 2-valve motor to push up to 700 wheel. That's gonna be the cheapest way to do it. Now, if you guys wanna throw in some cams, you can. If you guys wanna port the heads, you can, but that's actually not going to be necessary because we're only gonna be going up to 700 wheel horsepower because that's gonna be what the crank is gonna be maxed out at. So, in my opinion, that's actually not a bad number to be sitting these cars at. Usually the rule of thumb for the NewEdge platform is anything over 700 kind of gets sketchy on the street. So if you're trying to build a street car, something you guys can enjoy, take to Mexico on the weekends, have some light track days, and overall have a fun car that's fast, looks good, and that's paid off, I feel that building the 4.6 liter 2-valve that way is going to be a very affordable and viable option even in 2022. Now you guys might be wondering, how much is all this going to cost to go ahead and refreshen and strengthen my 2-valve motor to hold all this power? You can get all this done for $5,000 or less. Now, in my personal opinion, $5,000 for a built bottom end that can support 700 horsepower in a car that weighs 3,300 pounds, it's not really that bad. And especially when you add everything up, the dollar per dollar horsepower value is going to be well under $20,000, which in my personal opinion is amazing here in 2022. Now, I want you guys to keep in mind, my car, when I got it, was bone stock. All I had was a Catback exhaust. Now, it costed me $4,000 to go ahead and supercharge my 2-valve Mustang. That includes the Supercharger kit, the intercooler, as well as the supporting mods. Now, obviously, I've done a little bit extra, adding in long tube headers, upgrading the intercooler, but from stock to supercharged, this car costed me $4,000 to go ahead and get done. I bought the car for another $4,000. I dropped another $5K into a built bottom end, and we're looking at literally still under $15K for a car that could be set up for 700 wheel horsepower. And my bottom end's a little bit stronger than that. So let that sink in. These cars are 110% worth building and boosting if you do it the right way and you know exactly what parts to buy. A lot of guys will tell you need to go ahead and throw in some trick flow heads, you need to throw in some cams. You don't need to do any of that. The most important thing you need to do with this car is build the bottom end, get a boost application, whether it be a centrifugal supercharger or turbo. Obviously, because the turbo is more efficient, you're gonna be able to push less boost and make more power. You can get these cars moving for a very affordable price without going ahead and swapping a 5.0 motor in it. Now, I am gonna say this on the contrary, if you guys are trying to go for big horsepower, or you want something that is NA, obviously, you're gonna wanna go ahead and drop in a Coyote, but because of, you know, the difference between the Gen 1, the Gen 2, the Gen 3s, the only really options you have are gonna be realistically throwing in a Gen 2 or a Gen 3, either going the NA route with the Gen 3 or going the boosted route with the Gen 2. All those are gonna cost you well over $15K to get done. Obviously, at $15K, I bought the car, supercharged it, and built a bottom end. Less than $15K actually. So it's gonna be up to you guys. If you guys wanna go ahead and drop the money for the 5.0 or build and boost the 4.6 liter 2-valve. Obviously, having a Coyote Swap 2-valve is dope, it's badass. It's guaranteed to be quick, but it's gonna cost you a hell of a lot more, and you can get similar, if not better results for less money sticking with the 2-valve, because you're not gonna be able to boost and swap a Coyote in this car for $15K. It's just not gonna happen unless somebody literally gives you the motor for free, or you already have a supercharger kit laying around that you could just switch the bracket for an intercooler to get it done. But if you're watching this video, odds are you don't have that opportunity. So my personal opinion, it's a no-brainer, man. Stick with the 2-valve, build it up, boost it, and have something different, because you don't really see these cars out too much. You definitely don't see these cars quick. If they are fast, more often than not, they have a swap. But it's kind of nice to go ahead and have something that's, you know, out the ordinary, and that's just not really as common. Again, not ragging on the Coyote Swap, because it is a viable option. I definitely thought about doing it, but I wanted to go ahead and stick with the 2-valve because I knew what you could do with the 2-valve with the right parts, and also with the money spent, the dollar per dollar horsepower value is there with these blocks. These cars aren't obsolete, they aren't trash, they aren't garbage. You just have to go ahead and put your money in the right places so you're not wasting it on parts you don't need, like heads, cams. You can add that, it's definitely gonna add more power, but you don't need that. Now, I know there's gonna be some guys who are gonna be asking, well, what if I wanna go ahead and push big horsepower, something you can make with a boosted Coyote out these 2-valves? That's gonna cost you quite a bit. Now, the bottom end that's going in my car, it costed me $4,800. The sleeves for that bottom end is another $2,000. The cams, another $1,000. It can add up quite quick, and at that point, I do recommend you just going ahead and swapping a Coyote and boosting it, because in the long run, you're gonna end up saving yourself some money. But I wanna go ahead and do something a little bit unique, because I like this platform, I like the motor, and it's something that you don't really see on the road too often. So I wanna have something that's special, kinda catered to what I wanted, and that's, you know, something that would make me happy driving. But again, dollar for dollar horsepower value, you can get these cars moving for an affordable price as long as you keep it under 700 horsepower, which in all reality, I'm kind of downplaying 700 horsepower. I mean, who does that? 700 horsepower in a car that weighs 3,000 pounds, that's not slow at all. I don't care what anybody says. If you can drive it, that's not slow at all. You have like a mini C6 Z06 on your hands, and that's, nobody's saying that's slow. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, make sure you guys drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on those post notifications. It's your boy, Ears POV. Catch you guys in the next one. Deuces.